Can you walk us through how you did it?
It was a self-submission. I saw that there was a role for a corporate gay guy, and I was like, okay, that's me. I already had a video of me delivering a monologue as a corporate gay guy, and it was comedic, and this is a dark comedy. And so I sent it, being like, we'll try it. The callback was in person, and the director was specifically like, that was a great monologue for this role. And so I was like, okay, cool, that worked. And then in terms of the actual booking of it, I mean, there were like 20 other guys there for the same role. And I don't know, this is more, I guess, of an acting thing, but like just being, not trying to please the casting director and not trying to think that you know what they want and just doing what you want with it. Doing what you want to do with it will inherently make you stand out. And if that gets you the offer or if it doesn't, it kind of doesn't matter because you'll be memorable either way. Everyone who was called back could do it. Like they can all act. And so we all know how we're supposed to do it. Especially with gay roles, I feel like I have to either amp up the gay or like really tone it down. And so for this, I was like, I'm just gonna be myself. I'm just gonna be my own gay self. And it worked. So that was really refreshing.
You had shared something about him encouraging you to reach out with an vulnerable
Oh,
message.
when I say ultra vulnerable, it was probably just like medium vulnerable and I'm sensitive. So
So for you, but vulnerability, okay, very important distinction, right? Like there's certain things that maybe for other people, if they shared that, that's super vulnerable and it feels like it costs them something or they're risking something or they're scared. And there's certain things in my life where I'm like, I've kind of accepted it. I'm cool with people knowing. And so maybe those things don't feel as vulnerable. So I don't want you to judge how vulnerable it is based on like the content. It's about how you relate to it. And I think that's the key distinction.
yeah, thank you. It was just about kind of what I just talked about, where I was like, thank you so much for being, because they were very receptive in the room. And there was it's a comedy, but I brought like a sort of darkness to it that felt
Mhm.
real for me in the moment, so I just went with it.
Mm.
And they were like, that's really intriguing. And I also thanked them for being open to my particular brand of gayness. I'm also very
Mm.
brand of gayness. I'm also very tall, and I've straight up had casting directors tell me before that I'm too tall to play a gay guy, which is wild to me, and I know that that's fucked up and bullshit, but like, and I said that to them, and I was like, so thank you for being receptive because that meant a lot to me. And I was
Oh.
worried about coming off as like, please cast me. But it wasn't. It really was just thank you for that because I've doesn't always happen. And and so it was really it meant something to me. Um
Mm.
and I wanted them to know that even like regardless of the project, I was like, that was so much fun just in the room. And so then they were so receptive to that. They were like, "Oh my God, thank you." And it was just a lovely moment. And now I get to see them every day, which is great.
Oh my gosh. Congrats. Well
Thanks.
deserved. Like in your preparation, in matching the materials and like kind of pitching yourself and then getting this lead role. That's amazing and very inspiring and way to be vulnerable and communicate what's real for you. So often people are like, me too, or like, hey, I've experienced that, or hey, I know what it's like to be discriminated in this type of way, or there to be certain judgments. And I imagine they really connected with you in that way, and you were just being you and real and um being just this human. So not only were they, I'm sure, like, oh my gosh, Kenon's like this fantastic actor, but also like this is a real human being that is a delightful person who's real that now they're like, we get to see Kenon every day. So I think them really liking you as a person, in addition to your acting chops and your preparation and all the stuff that you did, that was very inspiring. Thank you for sharing that, Kenon.